This episode of Off My Shelf contains coarse language and adult conversation. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, my name is Tracy James and welcome to Off My Shelf, a podcast about movies that are well off my shelf, where we go through my DVDs and talk about the movies in my collection. In this episode, Sarah Behl joins me in talking about the dynamics between men and women with Shallow Hal and Secretary. Welcome!
Hello.
Thank you for joining me today on a beautiful Friday.
It's wonderful to be here.
I don't know. I don't really have like a segue into these movies. I watched one of them like 3 hours ago and the other one 3 days ago. And I'm not sure what to make of them, to be honest. So, yeah, you know, that's it. That's what I got. Yes.
This was the first time I watched both movies ever in my life. I watched them this week over multiple sittings for each film. I question to think any one sitting was longer than 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll open the floor to you. What are we talking about first?
Well, do you want to talk about some dominant, submissive stuff, or do you want to talk about fat shaming?
I mean, I have a problem with everything that happened here.
That makes sense to me.
Wait, how about we both start by saying, like, one thing we liked about anything that we witnessed. I can think of one thing.
You can think of one? Okay, well, what's your one thing?
The one thing I'm grateful for in this viewing is that Jason Alexander is in one of them, which makes me immediately think that everyone is going to be terrible.
I mean, you're right. So,
and yeah, and that was a very helpful cue.
Yes.
Like, I appreciated that setup because everything else that happened to it was completely in line with what the expectation management of Jason Alexander.
Wow. I think my appreciation thing is also an actor thing, but it's not as cynical as yours. I thoroughly enjoy Maggie Gyllenhaal as a person and an actress.
Yes.
And despite my questioning of the role she plays, she does a really good job, and I like her.
Yeah, I agree. She did not write this movie, but she acted the hell out of it.
She did an amazing job, and I think that's also one of the reasons when you watch it, you kind of cringe a little bit because you're just like, oh, she's doing that too well. Oh God. Yes.
I, at one point of the movie, interpreted this like glare that she cultivates into just like smarmy satisfaction, as opposed to what they intended it to be, just because it made me feel better to think that Maggie was just like giving this smarmy look and they're interpreting it something else entirely.
What do you think they were interpreting it as?
Like sexy, sultry, submissive, like.
Oh yeah, no, because I got what you got out of it.
Smarmy,
smarmy
satisfaction.
Yeah, she's like, I'm doing this on purpose.
I'm getting paid right now, bitch.
Yeah, you know, that's what I got out of it as well. But I also thought it was part of the character.
Oh,
so I didn't think that part was the submissive part.
I think that was supposed to be like the eyes, like are like rolling back out of like pleasure of her grossness. But like I think that I interpreted it as smarmy.
Okay. Yeah, because that's why I was asking, like, well, what look do you think she was giving? Because that's what I got.
I think at some points it was meant to be, like, a longing, like, like, this was giving her emotions. This was flooding her basement.
I mean, parts of it, that's what it was supposed to be. Well, you know what? Okay. So, since we seem to be already, you know, trying to understand the film compared to Jason Alexander's role, we're going to talk about Secretary first. Okay. We're there. Technically, this is the proper alphabetical way, but also I feel like there's more to interpret in Secretary than there is in Shallow Hal. So Shallow Hal is very surface level.
So
in
gross.
The worst ways. But yeah, so yeah, Secretary. Wait, I know you just watched it. Had you ever heard of this movie before?
Not really, no.
Okay. All right. Because I bought this movie I bought a long time ago. Because this came out in 2002. I think maybe like a year or two after I bought this movie. And I think I literally bought it because I'm like, ooh, it's sexy.
Oh.
I bought it.
You had a sexy movie phase?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I did.
What else is in your sexy movie collection?
Oh, no. Not just buying. Just like to watch.
Oh, okay.
Just like, ooh, sexy, you know.
No, but like in your current library, do you have other categorically sexy movies?
Oh, that is a good question. Because like every time I come across this movie, I was like, no, I bought this movie because I thought it was sexy. That's why I bought it. I know for a fact that's why I bought
that's
this
what
movie.
Appealed to you at that moment. You're
yeah.
Like, sex appeal.
But I mean, like, I know I bought movies because like I was like thirsty over people because like things like Man from U.N.C.L.E. and stuff, Henry Cavill in a suit, like, yes. I'm going to buy that movie. It happened to be a good movie. Don't get me wrong. But, man, you know, come on. That's what's happening.
That's a sexy movie for you.
Exactly.
Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Exactly. But, like, I don't think anything else in my collection I bought specifically because it was sexy. Because I had already watched things like Boogie Nights. I remember we watched it when we were
I didn't
young.
think that was a sexy movie.
But the thing is, when I saw ads for it, I thought it was sexy. And that's when we rented it and we watched it and we're just like, this makes me feel dirty and uncomfortable. And that's what we got out of it. So no, I would not buy that movie, you know? It's stuff like that. But yeah, no, I'm looking at my collection. I'm like, no, I don't think there's anything else here. Well, maybe Zach and Miri make a porno, but also
that's a comedy.
But they're making a porno.
But that's Seth Rogen and Elizabeth Banks are not sexy.
No, they're not. But yeah, no, I think this is literally the only one I bought for that specific
sexy
idea.
Maggie.
And
Maggie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that now. Yeah.
She drips sex appeal in almost everything she does.
She's very much used as like a sex icon in this movie.
Yeah, like, but not just in this. Like you see her in, like she was in like the Batman movie, and you see her, and she replaced Katie Holmes, and there's definitely more of like a, oh, I see what Bruce likes, you know. You know, like that kind of feeling. Even when you watch her in like Stranger Than Fiction and she's like the baker and she's like mad at the tax man and like,
oh yeah,
that's kind of hot. Like I get why he's attracted to you. Like,
okay, Will Ferrell, good choice.
Right?
Yeah,
you know, like she has that. I hate using this terminology, but she's not a typical beauty, quote unquote, but she is beautiful and she's very pretty and she has this way about her.
Okay.
You know? Because even in a movie like, what's it called? I think it's called Frank. It's with, oh,
I love Frank.
Yeah, you know what movie I'm talking about.
I love that movie. Yes.
And stuff. Great movie, and like she's not even doing so much, but she's so good and she's so funny.
She's so funny in that. Yeah. I think she's a funny actor. Like I don't see her sexy, but I see her devastatingly humorous. Like so cunningly funny. I wish she did comedy.
Yeah, like straight ass comedy.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
like she would just slay. Like,
but that's the thing. Like in Stranger Than Fiction and stuff, she's funny.
Yeah, she's funny.
Even in this movie where her character isn't really supposed to be funny, you're supposed to kind of feel, I feel like you're supposed to feel sorry for her until the end, which is weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. But she does things that are flat out, but I'm like, but you're they made me giggle. I'm like, you're doing a funny thing. And I know you're not supposed to be, but you're doing a funny thing. So, like, this is also why I kind of appreciate watching it, because I think if it was anybody else in that role, I don't think I could have finished the movie.
Yeah, she was definitely compelling I mean, I hated the situation she found herself in and the context that informed her life, and it was so tragic, and and even the soundtrack choices were just like she's making out with a guy to cake. I will survive. That is like the saddest love scene I've ever seen.
But it's supposed to be, and it's also one of the scenes that are funny.
It's groaningly just awful.
It's so sad. It's very sad, but also the way she does it is very funny. Because
it is funny.
Every time she gets annoyed, she's like, I put your hand on my butt for a reason. And she's just like, and the guy's not getting it, and she's frustrated, and she's just like, fine, let's just do it, but I have to keep all my clothes on, and I don't have to look at you. Like, yeah, okay. Done.
She says the terms. But, like, yeah, it was just, like, the saddest. And I felt bad for her, because she's not empowered to use her voice in the way she wants to. And, like, but I guess that's her whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's also kind of the point of the movie. Like I mean, I haven't watched this movie in years. I will say I have not watched it in years. And I feel like I didn't understand it. But, like, I watched it this time, I was like, oh, I think I get it now.
oh, I think it's, like, poor representation of BDSM. Like, I think it's just, like, a lot of misinformation is happening. No one should be enforcing any relationship advice based on this movie.
No, definitely not. No.
Do not take this as a ringing endorsement of anything. If anything, the whole workplace situation should be textbook guide on, like, what not to do to your employees.
Correct.
Ask them if they're married. Ask them if they have kids. All the reason that they can discriminate you, and also be a lawyer so you know this by law. Like, what a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. No, he was a shitty person to start off with, because, like, I know, like, so her character starts off the movie just coming out of, like, some sort of mental health facility that she's been in for a while because she accidentally almost killed herself cutting herself, right? And so they put her in there, she gets out, but she'd been there since she was, 16 or something, yeah. I think they said. And she's probably in her mid-20s.
Early 20s?
Early to mid-20s.
Yeah.
And she's never had a job before. She took some typing class, and she walks into this place that's looking for a secretary. The place looks like a tornado's gone through it. A woman is leaving, crying, holding her box of stuff, and she's still like, yeah, okay, I should get a job here. And I was like, what? Like, I don't care how desperate you are or how sad you are. You turn and you walk out.
Yeah.
You don't look for somebody else.
Red flag number one.
All the red flags. All of them. I'm like, no, just walk back out. You haven't talked to anybody else. Just leave. You know? But she was like, I'm determined to do this. I'm like, but why?
But she's also she commits self-harm, right? So she's not mentally well. Like, yes. She has issues. Yeah. She's vulnerable.
Yeah. But, like, my first note is, like, I don't care how messed up my life is. I'm leaving if I see this. That's what I wrote.
That's what wisdom, the luxury of wisdom, right?
It is the luxury of wisdom. Or what is it, like, God's sight? Like, you get to, like, push yourself away from it, but just see all of it.
Yeah.
You know, like, it informs more of the situation because you can see more of the situation. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I was like, because she was finally trying to, like, take charge of her life and, you know, be a functioning part of society instead of just, like, staying home and having her mother lock up knives and dote. That's just kind of boring, really.
Well, I mean, what time is this supposed to be in? Do you know? Is it the 80s or the 90s?
Well, I think it's supposed to be the 90s because, like, he says when he walks in, he's like, no, we type things. We do not use computers. So, like, I don't think it'd be, like, the 70s or early 80s because computers wouldn't have been a regular thing anyways. But for them to be, like, a regular thing is having a computer and you having to tell somebody we're doing typewriters, not computers. And they still being like, typewriter is fine.
Yeah.
Sure. So it has. I don't think it took place in 2002 when this movie came out. I think it was like maybe like 1993.
Okay.
I think so.
But when did Cake I Will Survive come out?
That is a
that would dictate, I guess. Was the music in sync with the time frame of the movie?
I can't think of any other song that was in the movie.
Yeah, I don't remember any of the other music.
So
I just remember that sad song from that sad moment.
Cake I Will Survive was released on not YouTube upload dates. That's not what I'm looking for. Not 2017. Come on. No. 1996.
Okay.
Well, that's, you know what? That's right. We were in high school when this came out. The song came out. That is right.
Yeah.
I did this in a talent show. I remember that now. Oh my God. Yes. So 1996.
Okay. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So it
the
fits
time
in there.
frame is in the music is of the era, I guess. They're trying to represent. So like from,
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it was just like, I find too with that time period, especially like indie movies had this like this way of making films that were in time and out of time at the same time. I said time a lot just now, I'm sorry. Because nothing comes across as anachronistic or anything.
Yeah.
But also it doesn't seem like
time.
modern.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, so I think what my brain does when that happens, it just ignores the time period just as long as everything in the movie seems right. Like if somebody pulled out a cell phone in the middle of that movie, I'd have been like, this is weird.
What is this?
Yeah, like that doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Yeah, the phone she was using was like a super old phone.
Yeah, it was a bunch of rotary phones everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's fine. I suppose. But, and like their cars they were driving were a little bit older as well, even for that time period. So I was like, okay. And it had that like when she was home, except when like the parents were fighting and stuff, it had that vibe of like Edward Scissorhands. You know, everything was like extremely hyper colored and people seemed to be doing normal things in weird ways.
Yeah.
Is what it felt like,
yeah.
You know? So it had that kind of like weird balance to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crushing normalcy.
Yeah. Destroys all of our souls, really, if you think about it. So we already touched on this a little bit. What else do you think about James Spader's character?
Oh my God, I fucking hate him so much. James Spader. I mean, I knew he was a bad guy from back in, what was it, Pretty in Pink? Was he the bad guy?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he redeemed himself a little bit in Stargate later on. Mm-hmm. But then straight to bad guy with this one, Mr. E. Edward Grey. Fuck this guy. Honestly, the worst employer of the city by far.
By far.
I hope he gets sued by his former secretaries. Also, to use that term secretary is so diminishing, right? Like, he had like a lit sign too, like red flag right there.
Right there.
Literally, there were red light bulbs.
But I think even at like in the early 2000s, yes, the term secretary was kind of like going out, but at the same time, people half and half used it. Like,
I guess I still hear it used occasionally, like Secretary of Defense, you know.
Yes, Secretary of the Treasury,
you know.
Yes,
the chick jobs.
They're all in there still. But like, I mean, once he hired her, he didn't call her secretary. He called her paralegal. And then she tried to ask that other woman what a paralegal was, and the other lady just laughed and walked out. I was like, I mean, wow, but jeez. Yeah.
It was like, yeah, it was weird vibes. Like, it was so creepy. Like, I 100% admit that I fast forward many of the scenes because I was just so overwhelmingly creeped out by how awful the interactions were. Like, I don't need to know what happens. I don't need to hear this shit. This is traumatizing. Like, what an awful, like, not to say I've had exact experiences like that, but like relatable content is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, like, and this is also one of the things that bothered me about the office that she worked in. Because, well, the office she worked in didn't make sense to me because there seemed to be other people, but there also didn't seem to be other people at the same time. And then, but except for him, the people who worked there all seemed to be women, but nobody stood up for her. Nobody seemed to talk to her. Nobody tried to intervene. People seemed to know what he was doing, but just let him do it anyways.
Yeah.
No one was reporting him for any reason. And I was like, so you let this clearly naive little girl come in there and just threw in with the wolves, like, without lending a single hand, and you were fine with this?
Well, I think there are so many parts of this movie that were just like not based in reality. Like the entire last third of the movie is like a giant fever dream where I couldn't even discern. I'm like, is this really supposed to be happening, or is she imagining it, or is it like made up? Like I questioned. I was like, what is reality in this case?
Like her just sitting at the desk?
Yeah. Well, and then the people coming to her, and like it seemed like, because it's such a weird, why would people be camping out to see her have commit a hunger strike for love? Like that makes no sense. Like my parents wouldn't show up and be supportive. The ex-wife wouldn't show up and rag me out. Like weird things were happening in the movie that I was like, is this just in her head? Is she dreaming this all? She died? It's just like, I
From
hope
her hunger strike?
Yeah. But it was just weird. It was like, even the ending, the very, very end, like where it's like, he's driving away to work and they have this life together. I'm like, is this just whose nightmare is this? Like, is this his head? Is this inside of his head? Like, it was just so weird. Like, it doesn't seem like a natural course of events. I feel like maybe the ending was like rushed to have a rewrite for a happy ending sake. And that's why it makes no sense now, because that's kind of what it is. Like they try to smooth it all over to be like, no, it's totally okay. They got married and they're all happy now. Bye. He still beats her, but she's totally okay with that. Like
she's fine with it. She's fine with it. Yes. Yeah.
She signed the NDA. Like, it's awful. Like, it's awful. Like, I hate everything. It's just kind of like, if we remade this movie today, it would be called Nygaard, right? Like...
Yes. I mean, so, like, I agree with everything you're saying. Don't get me wrong. But, like I said, like, watching it this time, I think I understand not what they're trying to get across better, but what the character was doing slightly better, because I feel for a long time I felt what you felt, where you're like, she's just being abused and they let this happen, blah, 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 blah. But then I'm like, it's an S&M story. Not S&M. S&M is wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, sadomasochism, I guess.
Or dominant, submissive thing, you know. They're doing that. But I was like, the scene that triggered it for me was, he was already yelling at her and being mean to her, and I was just like, and she was getting mad, and she's like, why am I putting up with this? But she's like, I need a job. And that was the scene where he's like, come sit on the couch with me, and I was just like, oh, don't sit on the couch, that's creepy, that's weird, yeah. You know, and here's hot chocolate. And then he was like, why do you cut yourself? And he's like, I don't know. And then he explained why she cut herself, and she was like, yes. And I think that's the moment that she, quote unquote, fell in love with him. I'm putting lots of quotes around that. Okay? Lots of quotes around that. Because she, like, even in the mental health facility she was in, and her parents and people around her, they don't understand why she does this, and that's why they treat her the way they do. And they don't treat her in, like, a nice way. They treat her like, I don't know, like a porcelain doll or something, that anything they do, she's going to break and crack and fall apart and blah, blah, blah. But she's not that weak, you know? But nobody's actually tried to understand why she does this thing, or nobody's tried to actually comprehend how she feels about things. They just keep like, no, this is something you're not supposed to do, therefore we're not going to talk about it. But here's things so you don't do it. but we're not going to try to understand why you do it. And he understood, and that's why she was just like a light bulb went off in her head kind of thing. I don't think he was the right person to do that for, but I feel like that's when the character was just like, is this what love is? You know?
I mean, it has the same problem for me as like 50 Shades of Grey, where it's like still the foreboding is very much like the narrative driver in both of these situations. Like it's a workplace relationship that's completely inappropriate. Like, how about we just have something like, you know, Consensual the musical, and people can agree to this beforehand and then commit these acts, right? Like, why can't that be the option? Because that's not the appeal, that's not the allure. Like, this is the intrigue, right? Like, they want to, like, if this was commonplace and everyday, I guess maybe wouldn't be so interested.
I suppose, yeah. No, but you're absolutely right, because like
I'm gonna write that Consent the musical.
Do it. It's gonna be so good. You're gonna sell all the tickets, and then people watch and be like, but nothing happens because they sign paperwork, and they're like, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, it's great, right?
That's what's supposed to happen.
We all have rights.
Yeah. And that's the biggest problem that I found with the movie as well, is that he started on his masochist journey on her without her consenting to it first. And that's the grossest part about it. And you're just like, so you called your secretary in your office and you just gave her a spanking.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck was that? And he's like, go back to work.
Oh, so, okay, here's interesting. Because I was fast forwarding all of these scenes, and I didn't watch them because they were already awful. But I do have to say, they didn't actually show anything. It was a lot of implied, right?
Yes,
like noises and blah, blah, blah. And because it was so implied, I always interpreted it as immediately sexual. So I was genuinely surprised to hit like the 2/3 part of the movie and realize that they had not, that this was a sexual relationship.
No, it wasn't.
I was just like, oh, twist.
It only gets sexual at the very end.
Yeah, like the last, before, like the last scenes, the last moments. But so that was genuinely surprising for me to see that part. I was just like, oh, okay, well, it was already inappropriate, so I just assumed it was all the inappropriates.
Yeah. You can be inappropriate on different levels. That doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is, like, shocking that you're just like, well, you assume you've crossed the line, so
I thought you just crossed them all at the same time.
You know. And speaking of just sort of, like, unexpected weird things, what is with the boyfriend Peter? God, I hate that character.
And his parents too.
His parents are awful
people.
Oh,
everything about that situation is just immediate cringe. I felt so bad for her. I was happy when she ran away from him.
Yeah, it was necessary.
But it was sad that she ran towards the other guy, the Mr. Grey.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
which was unnecessary.
Like, she could have just ran away, right? Like, she could have just keep running.
Yeah. Just run down the street in the wedding dress, just get it over with.
You have secretary skills. You have employable skills. You can type.
He said he would give you a good reference. Just go.
Get
just
out
leave.
of Dodge. Yeah, get out of this town.
The thing with the boyfriend is that he comes across as one of those guys who would yell at people like, but I'm a good guy. But he doesn't talk to her. He doesn't listen to her. He doesn't do anything she wants to do, you know? And it's just like, oh, we're boyfriend and girlfriend now, and this is what we're supposed to do, and then gets his parents to tell her about possible marriages, and you're just like, you've been dating a week, guys, like, relax, what's happening, you know?
Well, I think they were trying to do some pretty, like, normative binary shit, right? Like, you can go into this conventional, unsatisfactory love marriage, or you could have this marriage to this unconventional, power-hungry abuser. And those are your options as a secretary. Women can do anything. I hated this movie so much.
I can tell. I mean, I do remember when I was signing people up for episodes, and they were like, "Yeah, put me down for anything," and I put you down for this. You're like, "Why do you hate me?" And I'm like, A, nobody else signed up for it, and B, I don't think I could talk about this with anybody else because damn,
They're weird.
They're weird, and they're dirty, and it's about men and women and how they treat each other, and it's just, and neither of these movies show a way to treat the other person in an acceptable manner.
Yeah. Oh, there was one. Other than Maggie Gyllenhaal's acting, which is superb, there was one other thing that I liked about this movie.
Which was?
Is they showed a solo female scene.
Oh, yes, they did.
And I was like really raking my brain about like how few instances there are in that, generally in media, right? Of a solo female. The only other thing that I can think of is like 2 of them are shows, and one of them is Awkwafina's show. I think
I did not watch that. I really should. It was on my list of things to look at.
Maybe Broad City has a reference too.
Oh, Broad City definitely has references, yes.
And then
there was Black Swan.
Oh, I don't remember that. Yes. But now I remember that you mentioned it.
The funny thing, the reason why I remember that one in Black Swan is because I read a review of Black Swan, and there was like, and it was written by a woman, so which is fine, but there was a 2-paragraph complaint about the solo scene. And she was like, "Women don't do it that way. How are you supposed to get leverage? Blah, 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 blah." And I just thought it was so funny. It is just stuck in my brain. And that's the thing. I barely remember the scene. I just remember the woman complaining
about
that they did the scene wrong. I was just like, what?
But yeah, it's not often represented. I don't feel like.
I find most movies, either the woman is a quote unquote slut,
right?
So she's just having sex with a bunch of men all the time, or women are non-sexual, not necessarily prudish, but non-sexual unless there's a man around.
I guess, yeah.
Right?
They don't have independent thought around the subject matter.
Yeah. The other one was Sex in the City because Samantha.
Oh yeah, Sex in the City. Yeah. All TV shows though.
That's true.
Not many movies.
I can't think of any.
Well, except for Black Swan.
Yeah. And which I only remember because somebody made fun of it.
Criticism.
It was so stupid. But yeah, like it's because men are the sexual creatures and women are not.
Yeah.
And that's how we've been presented in media. And as soon as a woman is a sexual creature, she is presented as like a slut, and by the end of the movie she's got like AIDS, or she's dying, or she's been raped and abused, or something horrible happens to her. You can't just be a healthy
they find
sexual
your body.
woman,
Yeah.
out there.
that exists?
Apparently not, according to media. So yeah, no, it's good that it's there. It shows.
No, I was happy that they at least like represented that, and there was more than one scene too in the movie. There was 2 solo scenes.
Yeah, the bathroom scene was
hilarious,
but also not right.
Well, like she's very audibly expressive.
Yeah, but also it comes right after he went too far. I find without it was not.
Boundaries were already crossed.
It's true. They were already crossed. But I was like, really, this is what?
You have DNA evidence now, my friend. Take that to the police.
Take it to court.
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom.
Sue his ass. Well, and that's another thing that just showed why he was a poor employer. Because when he paid her off at the end for constructive dismissal, he didn't give her very much money, but she was like, he gave me more than he should have. I'm like, no, you could have gotten a lot more.
You deserve more.
You did not see the dollar signs there, baby.
There could have been a 0, a 0, a 0, and a 0
Take
added to
it
that.
all.
Yes.
Take it all.
Yes. She could have done it. She didn't. She missed the chance. It's horrible. What did you think about the well, I don't think we can talk about the parents. They weren't really in it, and like the mom was there, but she also didn't really do anything.
So I thought the parent stuff was interesting because the dad also has mental health struggles, and he's struggling with addiction. And then he's absent much in the movie, which is like, I think they're using that as a poor excuse to inform the daughter's mental health, whatever. Anyways, it's a little bit of like ableist thinking, but it's not very sensitively done, right? Like it's not, no. It's like they brush on it and they're like, okay, we're skipping past this, fast forward to the spanky spanks. Yeah. Like,
they're like, this is what you're here for, which I was. But
yeah, it was. We get it. It's in the sexy section of your movie collection.
But as you can see, like the movie isn't really sexy though. Like it didn't.
Oh, it's terrible.
It didn't do what I thought it was supposed to.
It was not sexy.
It was not sexy.
The sexy things represented in the movie made me sad and grossed out.
Yeah, agreed.
Like I do not feel good for watching this movie.
Like, when that stuff was happening, I was just like. I had this like look on my face, you know, when you're just seeing something just wrong and you're like, I can't do this. I don't like it.
Yeah, I fast forward through so much of this movie.
And that's when I picked up my phone and was like, what's going on over here? You know, look back up. I'm like, that's not done yet? Okay, what's going on over here then? That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's very, like, you watch some of these movies and you're like, what were people actually thinking when they made them?
Yeah. What was the intention in this movie?
Yeah.
Like, I think it was just sensationalism, right? Because it's like topics maybe that this like submissive dom culture wasn't as well known as it is now. It wasn't it's
No, it's 2000.
Yeah.
Well, it's after Google, but before iPhones, I guess. You weren't Googling as you
It's an
walked
old
around.
ass movie.
Yeah. Jeez.
It's a 20-something-year-old movie. Maggie Gyllenhaal's career has been great.
Great. Exactly. She's done a lot better since this. I think the first thing I saw her in was Donnie Darko.
Oh, yeah. The Sparkle Squad or whatever. Yeah. Oh, my God. That's my favorite.
No, the Sparkle Squad was the other sister.
Oh, yes, that's
the younger sister. And she was the older sister by like a year who was going to college.
Right.
And he was still in high school, if I remember correctly. But yeah, when later on I found out they were actually brother and sister, I was like, wait, what? This is crazy.
Wild.
I don't know. I don't really have that much else to say about this movie except, it's sadly disappointing.
Yeah, don't watch this movie.
Yeah, it's not great.
Or don't keep it in the sexy section of your movie collection.
Look, it's not in the sexy section. It's in the alphabetical order section. Okay, that's it.
I would like only I don't alphabetize anything, but if I were to organize my movie collection, it would be by mood.
Yeah. I tried that once. Well, not by mood. I think this was after the first time I watched High Fidelity. I was like, I'm going to do what he did with like his records. Like, either do like chronological order, like the actual like movie release dates, or, how does it make me feel, like genre, or like, what do I think is the most pivotal movies compared to the least pivotal movies, blah, blah, blah. And after pulling everything off my shelf and they were on the ground for like 4 days in like different piles that were rearranged 8 times, I'm like, no, alphabetical is fine. We're just going to put this back.
This is how I like it. This is what I need.
It just made my life easier. It made it so much easier. Yeah. But I have one more question about this movie. So Peter takes her on their first date to a laundromat/restaurant. What?
It's a small town.
But does that exist? Is that a real thing?
I think in small towns, lots of things like that. Like, you go to a small town, you get like to the post office. It's all the gift shop. And it's also like where you order your Avon.
But that makes sense. Laundromat, restaurant?
A small town. I don't know. Who are we to judge?
If it was like restaurant, grocery store, I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine.
There's There's a restaurant laundromat by my house.
No.
They have ice cream and bubble tea.
But can you sit down with a glass of wine and spaghetti?
Not spaghetti.
And then fold under
I think you can get like a breakfast sandwich.
What?
Yes.
This exists?
Yes.
I thought they just made like keys.
It's across the street from a high school, so like I think the high school students go there on lunch and like get snacks.
Okay.
And it's also a laundromat.
Niche market.
I mean, it exists.
I guess it works. There's a reason for it.
I mean, times have changed. Progress, Tracy.
So
women are no longer secretaries.
They were ahead of the game then. They just didn't know it.
That was the most progressive thing in the film.
What? Amazing. I need a business proposal next week. I will invest in this idea. We're making this happen. It's fine. It's fine.
Rent's expensive.
It is. Okay, so speaking of things that make no sense and why they exist. Shallow Hal. This movie is done by the Farrelly brothers. And they've made movies such as Dumb and Dumber and There's Something About Mary, which I think are hilarious. Mind you, I haven't watched There's Something About Mary in a long time. But Dumb and Dumber still kind of holds up.
It's stupid.
But it's fun. Like, it'll still make you laugh. But watching this movie, I did not laugh a single time. And I was just confused a lot of the time. And I was just cringing.
Yeah. I hated this movie more than I hated The Secretary.
Boom. I agree with you. Absolutely. Absolutely. I was just like, what? Like, the weird thing is they tried to redeem the concept at the end with the kids at the hospital. And because he, when he was like hypnotized or whatever, he saw the kids as quote unquote normal. And then later goes back, they're in the burn unit. Oh no, when he saw their beauty and now he can't see that anymore. I'm like, what? So it's okay to make fun of fat people?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This whole movie was like an excuse, like they try to make it like a woke situation, but it was just an excuse to tell perpetual fat jokes. Like,
and not even good fat jokes. They were just like cruel and mean and unnecessary.
It was awful. It was like, if you thought about like showing this movie from the woman's perspective, you would just witness somebody getting like abused and mistreated and insulted just constantly, and then kind of at the end kind of have to like put up with it and be like, okay, I guess I accept you. Like,
this is the best I could do, I suppose.
I guess, yeah. Like, it's such a defeatist attitude, and it's like, it's terrible. Even so Jack Black is Shallow Hal, and he does this like thing to pick up his date, which is basically like a joke about being crazy. And I was just like, this is so deeply insensitive to be like, hey, I'm calling you beautiful, and if you don't like that, I'm gonna gaslight you about that. It's just like everything about. I'm like, this isn't charming. This isn't endearing. Like, you're a fucking creepazoid, Jack Black. Like, I hate you. I want to like you, but I hate you right now.
I hate everything about the character, and like Jack Black has a stupid amount of charisma, and usually, even if he plays a shitty character, like. I already mentioned High Fidelity, which he plays an asshole in that, but he comes across as
charming
and kind of cool. He did Orange County with Colin Hanks, who's in that one. What else was he in? There's a movie where
he's in Mario. He's Bowser in Mario.
Oh my god, he's Bowser in Mario. And he's just like, he's
in Jumanji.
Fucking loved him in Jumanji.
He's in Tenacious D, and his Tenacious D co-host is in there.
Yes.
Is in the movie, which is fun.
Kyle. Yes. But like nothing about his character and nothing that he does in this movie is good.
Oh, I hated it.
Nothing.
I hated it so much.
You mentioned Jason Alexander, and I was like, he is a worse version of George Costanza.
He is.
And he doesn't get his comeuppance like George Costanza does, which makes me even angrier.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And also, what was up with the weird hair thing that he was doing that ended up being like a hairspray,
like
thing?
paint kind of situation.
And I was like, what is
Rudy Giuliani hell?
Oh my god! At least it didn't rain the whole movie. Like what that? Like what is going on?
Oh my gosh! Yeah. The opening scene of this movie is something
Just
so.
At the club with them dancing.
No! The father, the dying father.
Oh, who was a priest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like that. I mean, that could be clipped out and shown at HR meetings for employees as well to be like, hey, man, this kind of language doesn't fly anymore. Like, not cool to say any of this shit.
Yeah. Well, and the worst part is that, like, so your wife and your son are at the hospital and you're on your deathbed. And yes, you're being given a bunch of drugs and everything. But your son comes in to see and hear your final words. And your thing is to tell him he's sorry he settled for love because his mother's boring. Go out and get somebody with really big titties and a good butt. And he's just like, yes, Dad.
Young.
Yeah.
And emphasis on the young.
Yeah. And then...
And you're 9 when you're hearing this.
And you're just like, I'm sorry. So like with alcohol and whatever, the drugs are just emphasizing what you have thought all along and reducing your ability to keep yourself from saying it. So you have thought this about this poor woman all this time.
Or not only that, like, hey, let's make a fun movie where a man gets a new perspective on reality. And let's open that movie with a scene that features child abuse. Like, why these choices? Why is this comedy? Like, why these choices?
It's not
Why
funny.
These choices?
It's not funny at all.
I was like, what?
Like, and the thing is, watching this movie, I remembered nothing about it. That's the funny part. I remembered almost nothing about this movie. And so when the movie started, I was like, is this the right? I guess it is. You know. And then they switched to that dance scene. I was like, oh my God, I hate you so much.
Yeah.
You are the worst person.
Although, thinking about that stupid dance scene, so there's like a stupid moment where Jack Black and Jason Alexander are trying to get the ladies on the dance floor by harassing them. And their butts touch, and then they do a dance together with their butts touching.
Because they think it's a woman.
Because they think it's another woman. We find out at the end of the movie that Jason Alexander has a tail. So, at the beginning of the movie, I think Jack Black would have realized that Jason Alexander had a tail.
That tail would have been wagging at that time.
They did a butt dance together, and there's no mention of the tail until the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So,
the thing that annoyed me is like him having the tail was the thing for us to feel sad for him as to why he tries so hard to get a woman.
Yeah.
And I was like,
but he deeply judges others. That's
also why should we feel sad for you about that? You're just a dick with a tail now. Like, what are you getting at? I feel nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing.
It was just like a really thin premise just to like make cruel and awful jokes the entire time, right? Like, I don't know who was expected to walk away from this movie feeling good. Like, I didn't.
I did not. I felt dirty after watching it.
I mean, was this for men? Like, or I don't know.
I'm sorry. The men who watched this and was like, yeah, that's about right, are not getting what they're supposed to get out of this movie.
Right, yeah.
But also, I don't really think you could get anything
because like you would still walk away, like, even if you did like this movie, what did you like about it? Like, it reinforces your values. I'm like, yeah, I could treat people poorly if I think they're ugly. Like, it's nothing that we should aspire for as a society or a culture.
Yeah. Well, no, it's true. And like, I'm like, what's his name? Tony Robbins. Is it Tony Robbins?
Yes. Tony Robbins.
He's in it, and he's the one who quote unquote hypnotizes him. And essentially, he was just like in the elevator, he says something, and I'm like, oh, is this what this movie's about? Because he's just like, you keep asking me what my wife looks like. I love my wife. It doesn't matter what she looks like, you know? And she's like, you need to stop judging people about how they look and blah, 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 blah. And then, but the thing is, the only way Jack Black apparently could see the beauty in another person as if they were physically beautiful, and that's the only way he's going to treat them nicely. That's also not reiterating the point Tony Robbins was trying to say.
Yeah.
It's proving the point that is what Shallow Hal is thinking and feeling and seeing. Because as soon as he sees her as fact, his first thing to do is he was about to walk over and insult her. And I was like, so he hasn't learned anything.
Yeah.
Or not thinking
He's
anything.
not changed.
He's not changed at all. Like, it's sad and pathetic. Like,
yeah.
You know, and like the only way to see beauty in someone is to see physical beauty.
Yeah.
Also missing the point that you're trying to push in the worst way possible.
Yeah. No, it was just a thing, guys, to been like, no, we just wanted to make jerky jokes this whole time.
Yeah. Well, and there's a whole running joke about her breaking chairs throughout the whole movie.
Yes.
And I was like,
jokes.
Are you kidding?
Like, this is awful.
But the worst part is when they show her as, you know, fat or whatever. I'm just like, she's not that fat.
I know.
Like, what? What? She would not break all those chairs in the first place. That just seems mean for no reason and extra.
They did. They entirely made those kinds of like even at the end when she's like driving away to go in the Peace Corps with Jack Black, they make it stupid. Like the car has lowers when she gets into it. I'm like, come on, a fucking car.
Even though they've had her in the cars throughout the whole movie before, when it did not do that.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why is this necessary?
Yeah.
Like, it's just mean.
Yeah.
It's just mean.
I didn't feel good about that. Or like, even just like, I was so focused, I guess, on the experience of the woman, just like, wow, like she's gonna be treated this shittily and she's so rich and she's just gonna put up with it. I was like, WTF, I hope that's not real.
Yeah, you're rich, you can enjoy your life without a man in it, you know that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
Did you hear about Miss Alabama? So in this year, 2024, a plus size model wins Miss Alabama, and it's nothing but hate for her.
What?
I know.
Wait, what do they consider a plus size? A size 8?
No. She's like real. She's a real human being. She's also a mental health advocate. She's like, yeah, but people are just hating on her really terribly because like, so they're just like representing that part of this movie, right? Like,
yeah,
if people see something that they don't like, they feel entitled to criticize it, and people are expected to put up with it.
And they're cruel about it.
Yeah.
She's very pretty.
Well, not only that, like she's pursuing something that's obviously like a meaningful endeavor for her, like, and is being successful at it. Why are they trying to just drag her down?
Well, I mean, you know,
I know.
The swimsuit competition is very important. So
no, but how dare people take up space and even exist in this world, right?
Not if somebody doesn't conform to your conception of physical beauty, let's tear them down.
Yeah.
Why is that necessary?
I mean, it just pretty much proves that the greatest enemy in the 21st century is a woman with a bank card, right? Like,
it's true. I mean, it's true. I once read this whole, this sounds really stupid, but there's like a huge article about the history of the lack of pockets in women's wear. Yeah. And apparently it goes back to Victorian times, because in Victorian times, women's clothing had pockets. And they would have slits in them where you could stick in, like a bag can be slipped in or something so it could be concealed. And apparently men were getting mad that women had their own money or can conceal their own money. And so they made it so, like, because men were still the ones making the clothes. And so they made it that, like, pockets and stuff weren't there. So women had to, if they had a purse or something, they had to hold it out so they can see if they had money, or they can see if they're going somewhere, they could see something. It was a form of control. Yeah. And that's just been perpetuated continuously. In fashion. In fashion, and of course now the purse market has made it a thing, and I'm just like, Can we just have pockets and pants that I can stick my whole hand in? That's all I want.
Or phone. My
or
phone.
something.
Yeah.
Something would make it would just make my life so much easier.
Oh my gosh, the biggest insult is like clothes with the fake pockets, because you're like, it's like you gave me the hope that they were there and then you dashed them. Like,
took them away from me. How could you?
How dare you? I needed these.
Yeah.
Where am I putting my keys? I don't want to put them in my bra. They're pokey.
I don't want this anymore.
I just want a pocket.
No. But there's also like all these pictures online of like called girl hands or whatever, or girl grip. And it's just pictures of women holding like 35 things in one hand. So they'll have like a cup of coffee in the middle and like their keys holding on and like a phone in between two fingers. And they'll have like a grocery bag on like one finger and blah, blah, blah. As they're trying to like open their car, open like a door. And they're like, men can't do this. How come women can do this? I'm like, because we don't have pockets. We have to be able to do this.
We have to hold our shit.
We have to hold our shit. Like, it's crazy. And then people make fun of them. Like, why don't you just buy a bag? I'm like, why does she need a bag? She's wearing a full outfit. There's no pockets on it. Why are there no pockets? What the hell, But, I'm getting a little excited about that.
No, these are important issues.
I think so. Bring pockets back, people.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. That's why there's this phenomenon of like, oh my God, my cute dress, and it has pockets. It's so exciting.
Yeah, it's because it's a real luxury for us. It's something we've been deprived until very recently. Like bank cards. No.
It's taken us 200 years to get back here, okay?
Guys,
it's been a while.
You've not been supportive.
not
been good allies.
Not at all. Pockets are necessary.
They are a human right.
They are. They don't, I think men do not understand. They just don't get it. At all.
They have never been deprived a pocket.
Mm. They're just like, oh no, I have a pocket here and here and here and here and here. Oh,
utility.
We went out to trivia and our friend had a jacket with a pocket in it and a whole e-reader fit right into it. And I was just like,
oh, luxury.
Oh my God, I hate you so much.
I could never carry around an e-reader in my garment.
I can't even put my keys in my pocket half the time. Like, oh my God. It's just crazy.
Oh my gosh. Can I tell you something? Like, I was tempting the fates yesterday. And so I was at Sneaky D's. And at the end of their sketchy booths, they have like these hooks for bags. And so I had my work laptop in my bag because we were afraid of the TTC strike.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't want to have this on the bench next to me. It takes up too much room. I'm going to use this sketchy ass hook at Sneaky D's to hold my work computer in my bag.
Yeah. Did it stay up?
It did.
Yes.
It made it to work today. It survived.
That's good.
And it wasn't stolen. And I didn't drop my dishes that were also in my bag. It could have gone real bad.
It could have gone very bad, but everything turned out okay.
It was
Love
fine.
it. Love it. Amazing. Can we talk about Jack Black's neighbor?
What? Oh, the lady across the hallway. Why? So when he's hypnotized, I wonder why this person doesn't look hideous to him.
So I actually asked the same question, and I have a feeling if he had already known them, they did not change because he knows what they look like, right? But anybody new he met had the affliction, quote unquote affliction.
But wouldn't just everyone be beautiful then?
No, like that other nurse that she worked with was hideous. Yeah. And then you find out later that she's actually physically pretty.
But how do you form an opinion of a human physically before you know them personally?
That is a good question. And I'm going to put it this way. Auras.
Pheromones.
Or something. I don't know. But I think that nurse's aura was, I'm a horrible person and a gold digger. So, boom. You're gonna look ugly. Whereas I don't even remember what Gwyneth Paltrow's character's name was.
Rosemary.
Rosemary was like, I'm rich, but I'm also part of the Peace Corps, and I help children at the hospital, so I'm gonna be beautiful.
Therefore, gorgeous.
Yeah. Pretty.
The magic is questionable for sure about how the Tony Robbins magic
works.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would have made more sense if, like, he was, like, talking to his friend and, like, a wart popped out because he started to realize how ugly the person was.
Like, on the scale of believable magic, this is no Freaky Friday.
It is definitely not, no.
Yeah, I would definitely say Jumanji before this. I'm also willing to believe, there's another one, What Women Want.
There is also a What Men Want as well.
What Big? I would believe Big before I believe this.
Also, Big is a real problematic movie now that we're adults.
That's probably what is scary for you about Big? It's not in the sexy section of your movie collection.
It's definitely not in the sexy section of my movie collection. But also, he's a 13-year-old boy that becomes an adult overnight, and because of his childish behavior, he pretends to work for or somehow managed to work for a toy company and get an apartment, sleep in bunk beds, and this actual adult woman sleeps with him. And I'm just like, ew. But also at the end of the movie, she finds out he is actually a 13-year-old boy, and he apologizes, and still she's like, oh, if you were older, essentially. And I was like, oh,
not
no.
Cool. No. Boo.
Yes. But that's like the blank check controversy. Like, it's just, ugh.
What's the blank check controversy?
You've never seen Blank Check? So it's about this little kid who's like 10 years old, and some car like bumps his bike or something, and he's like, give me money. And the driver, he's like a criminal, and he literally gives him a blank check. Here, kid, put like $500 on here. And the kid puts like $1 million and gets like a bunch of money.
Okay.
But in this time period while he's doing stuff, there's like, I forget what the woman is. She's like a bank teller or like some lady down the street, but she's like in her mid-20s and, you know, pretty. And at the end of the movie, like, she knows the kid has a crush on her and like fully gives him a kiss on the lips and is like, you know, when you're a little bit older, give me a call. And I'm just like, what the shit is this? It's very problematic.
Is it a movie too?
That is also a movie. Yes.
It's gross.
It's a Disney movie. If
Disney.
But yes, I don't know, like there's a time in the 80s in there, like, where instead of being just like people being mean to women, it was like weird things with children, and I'm just like, why did people think this was okay at this time for a while for some reason? I
don't know. Children are oddly represented throughout the ages in weird ways continued, like even with all like the child stars coming forward now, like weird stuff is happening, right?
There's
like
some horrible
children
stuff
in entertainment have not had an easy road.
No,
they have not been all Macaulay Culkin stories.
His story was not that easy either. I mean, at least he was able to not die when he was like addicted to things, and everybody was really worried about him, and he got sober, turned around, and he's got like a happy family, and he's like, I love my life. I was like, what? It happened. We saved you. Now we have to save like Britney Spears and Amanda Bynes and stuff. God, I'm scared for Amanda Bynes.
At least they're not in a dance cult.
Oh my God, that's a different story. Oh my God. There's too many things. There's too many things, you know. Because especially if you hear the stories from like the 1940s and stuff with Shirley Temple.
Oh yeah.
And
Judy Garland
and stuff, and the stuff they used to do to them.
The horror shows.
It was
even Sarah Polley's Running Towards Danger. Like, have you read that book? We saw her.
Yeah. I haven't read the whole book because I was like,
read the book.
It's just a downer. I am not there for it.
Someone in our era, in Canada, in this time, in this place.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said this last time on the podcast because we're talking war movies. I'm like, I read and go to movies and stuff to feel better.
You're not.
I know.
You're not running towards danger.
Exactly. It's like I know of the stories. Like so, I
am aware.
I am aware of the stories. I know the stories. I know they're bad. I can have a discussion about them logically and everything. But I don't want to be put in the situation.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. I'm not there. I'm not.
I almost exclusively read nonfiction or graphic novels that are usually autobiographical graphic novels. Although I am reading Why the Last Man right now. So.
Because it's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah. Sadly, the TV show did not do it justice.
I didn't watch the TV show.
It's unnecessary. Because I was so prepared for it. I was so gung-ho for it. And I sat there and watched like 3 episodes. And I was like, this is not good.
The author also does Paper Girls. And I haven't watched the Paper Girls show either.
There's a show for it?
I think.
I didn't know there was a show for Paper Girls.
Only one season and it was canceled on Amazon or something.
I will look for it and have a look at it. Because I know about the comic. I haven't actually read the comic book.
Oh, they're great.
I know of it. I know a bit of the storyline. But yeah, I'll watch the show. Why not?
Yeah.
I gotta track that one down. I didn't know they made a show.
Yeah, that's our recommendation. Watch and read Paper Girls.
Yeah, and read Why the Last Man. Don't worry about the show.
Don't watch Shallow Hal.
Don't watch Shallow Hal. Yeah, that's unnecessary.
Or The Secretary.
Yeah, Secretary has its own problems. It's still better than Shallow Hal. I just don't think you should watch
Do you want to review something that you do like so we could have a positive?
We can have a positive note. What have I watched recently that I really liked? I absolutely loved The Fall Guy. It was fantastic.
Nice.
And when I left the movie, I felt I was in such a good mood after I watched that movie.
You're like upliftous and joyous.
Yeah, because it was just like, it was a movie. It's a great action movie. It's got a good bit of a storyline. But, random shit blows up and there's a sword fight for no reason. Whatever. But you kind of, it fits into the world. And then the end of the it just doesn't take itself too seriously. And everybody was clearly having fun when they made it.
Oh, nice.
And it's just I like this. And there's nothing non-purposefully problematic. There's certain characters that are meant to be problematic because that's what the character is. But they get their comeuppance, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But there's nothing in 10 years we're going to be they shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
There's not that kind of stuff in there. And chicks get to beat up guys, and guys get to flip cars, and
giant action sequence. Yeah.
Great action sequences. It's just lots of references. There's a unicorn. It's great. It's just great. And there's a movie in a movie that's so ridiculous that you're just I just want to know what this is actually supposed to be. And it's great. It's great. I really liked the movie.
Nice.
And I think it did not do well in the box office, and I'm mad about it because great movie.
Okay. Okay, I'll watch it. I'll give it a turn.
Yeah, that's my recommendation. Don't watch Shallow Hal. Don't watch Secretary. Go watch Fall Guy.
Okay, nice.
You watch anything recently that you really liked?
Yeah, it's very different. It's a documentary film.
Oh God. Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
But I think it's gonna surprise you. It was called Grand Theft Hamlet, and so it takes place in the world of Grand Theft Auto, the video game.
Okay.
But the whole thing is filmed inside the video game. This isn't talking heads. This is only virtual representations themselves. And these actors, out of work actors during the pandemic, stage Hamlet inside the video game with other actors and players in the video game. And stuff's blowing up. They scout different locations in the video game to have different scenes enacted, and somebody comes from the Royal Shakespeare Theater to watch it, and it has and they film this all and they make the documentary. So
I must have a very bad understanding of how you play Grand Theft Auto, because that just sounds very interesting but also does not make sense to me.
So in So kind of Roblox or Fortnite, you could just play in the online world with other people, right? Like you're not.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how
right.
Grand Theft Auto is now. So like you're trying to make money in the game so that you can buy buildings and airplanes and stuff.
Yeah.
But you're playing collaboratively with other people. And you have all the weapons and things too.
Yeah.
And the police and stuff still come after you. So yeah, you're just online now. Like, yeah, because I think you and I probably would have played it when it came out initially, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So I'm
that
making,
was like,
all I'm doing is making myself sound real old. Because what do you mean
but yeah,
video games?
we don't play those kinds of video games anymore,
No.
right? Like maybe I get to play 2 minutes of a Switch and it's like a round of Splatoon, right? Like that's the only first person shooter that I will engage in because I don't like the violence generally.
Yeah.
Because those games are very violent and represent, again, poor representation of women, and like it's why I wouldn't play it now. Yeah. But I liked seeing, because it is beautifully animated and they spend a lot of times on the maps and the worlds, and it's like a whole visual splendor for the eyeballs. So it was fun to see them like a movie in that way, in this 4K high def look, and then to have but a documentary.
Okay, so this is the kind of documentary I would watch.
You would love it. You would love it.
I would watch this kind of thing.
I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is
Grand Theft Hamlet. Yeah.
Done. Yeah. Okay. So we told you what not to watch, and now we have given you recommendations of what to watch.
You're welcome.
Instead. Sarah, thank you so much for coming this week. This has been lots of fun.
Woo!
We'll have you back another time.
Yeah, better movies next time.
Better movies next time. Better movies next time. Where we don't have to give you different movie recommendations at the end, okay? It's just, we'll be like, no, you should watch these. They're amazing. Oh.
Don't watch these ones.
I think, 50 Shades of Grey is a very worse version than Secretary.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. But yes.
That is also don't watch that one too. That one's also garbage. Yeah.
Why am I talking about them anymore? It's fine. Whatever. All right, see you next time. Bye. Well, that's it for this episode of Off My Shelf. Until next time, you can follow along on Instagram and Twitter at ohmyshelf, or you can send an email to ohmyshelf@gmail.com. This episode was produced and edited by me, Tracy, with original theme song by Ori Falconer. Like, subscribe, leave a comment wherever you listen to this podcast. Come back next time to see what falls off my shelf.